Welcome to US Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Russell Brand exposed himself to woman then laughed about it on BBC. Trump calls automatic voter registration a disaster for GOP. All aboard. Coast Guard invites the public in for a tour and maybe a career. To TikTok or not to TikTok? One GOP candidate joins the app even as he calls it digital fentanyl. Exclusive: Abelai ignores bully backlash to make Chelsea dressing room visits. Russell Brand exposed himself to woman then laughed about it on BBC. The Independent. A woman has come forward with allegations that Russell Brand exposed himself to her in 2008 and then laughed about it on his BBC Radio 2 show. The incident reportedly took place in Los Angeles when the woman was working in the same building as the BBC. Minutes later, Brand was recorded laughing about it on air, with his co-presenter making a comment about him showing his genitals to a woman. The woman did not make a formal complaint, but the incident was reportedly brought to the attention of BBC management in 2019, although no action was taken at the time. The BBC has now stated that it will investigate the allegations. These allegations come in the wake of several allegations of sexual assault against Brand by 4 women. Brand has denied all the allegations made against him and has maintained that all of his relationships have been consensual. The latest allegations have not been formally investigated, but the BBC has committed to looking into them as part of its review into Brand's time at the corporation. This latest allegation serves to highlight the ongoing issue of sexual misconduct in the entertainment industry. The #MeToo movement has brought numerous allegations against powerful figures in the industry, leading to increased scrutiny and calls for change. The BBC has faced criticism for its handling of sexual misconduct allegations in the past, and this case will likely add to these concerns. The investigation into Brand's conduct will therefore be closely watched, as it may shed light on broader issues within the industry and the ways in which such allegations are handled. Trump calls automatic voter registration a disaster for GOP. The Independent. Former U.S. President Donald Trump criticized automatic voter registration, AVR, as a disaster for the election of Republicans after Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro announced the adoption of AVR in the state. Trump claimed that AVR is unconstitutional and accused Democrats of cheating in elections. However, many of Trump's claims about AVR and the 2020 election have no basis in fact. 24 states and Washington, D.C. have now adopted AVR as a way to streamline voter registration. Critics argue that making voting easier could benefit right-wing populism if it mobilizes disaffected voters. All aboard. Coast Guard invites the public in for a tour and maybe a career. CBC. The Canadian Coast Guard opened up its ships to the public in St. John's, with the hope that visitors would be inspired to join the service. The event aimed to educate people about the Coast Guard and encourage recruitment. The Coast Guard has seen many retirements since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic and is looking to fill positions all over Newfoundland and Labrador. Visitors had the opportunity to tour the ships, including the icebreaker Captain Molly Cool, and learn about the different roles available in the Coast Guard. To TikTok or not to TikTok? One GOP candidate joins the app even as he calls it digital fentanyl. The Independent. Vivek Ramaswamy, a Republican candidate for the 2024 U.S. presidential election, has joined TikTok, the Chinese-owned video-sharing app that is under scrutiny over data privacy concerns. Ramaswamy, an entrepreneur, is running on a platform that opposes TikTok, which he calls digital fentanyl, and wants the app to be banned. However, he said his campaign is aimed at reaching young people and therefore he feels he must be on the platform. We're in this to reach young people, to energize young people, and to do that, we can't just hide, he said. Ramaswamy is the first 2024 presidential candidate to join TikTok. Many of his Republican rivals have called for a ban on the app, but they also want to reach young audiences who consume videos on TikTok. The app has over 150 million US users, according to TikTok. A spokeswoman for Ramaswamy's campaign defended both the decision to join TikTok and Ramaswamy's criticisms that the app is dangerous. You have to reach young people where they are, she said. Exclusive: Abelai ignores bully backlash to make Chelsea dressing room visits. Telegraph. Chelsea co-owner Behdad Abelai has been regularly visiting the team dressing room and manager's office at Stamford Bridge this season. Sources say that he has not addressed the players after games and has not delivered any pep talks, instead simply shaking hands with players and coaching staff. Abelai's presence in the dressing room area could prompt debate over the involvement of the owners, particularly following last season's criticism of the team by co-owner Todd Boehly. However, sources say that the visits will not have come as a surprise to manager Mauricio Pochettino or the players. A succession of absurdities. The Guardian. A recent book by Michael Wolff, The Fall, The End of the Murdoch Empire, has been criticized for its poor writing, unsourced gossip, and lack of evidence. The book chronicles the history of Fox News and its relationship with the Murdoch family, a relationship that has had a significant impact on U.S. politics and the rise of President Trump. However, the book fails to provide any substantial evidence to support its claims. Instead, it relies on unattributed gossip and speculative characterization. The author claims to have had access to conversations between the Murdochs and their associates, but provides no evidence to support these claims. It is no surprise that Murdoch and his family had negative opinions of Trump, but the book fails to provide any new insights or revelations. The book also fails to address the more serious issue of Fox News undermining public trust in the results of the presidential election and putting U.S. democracy at risk. Overall, the book is a missed opportunity to provide a comprehensive and serious analysis of the role of Fox News in U.S. politics. Honda Indy Toronto returns for 2024 IndyCar season. The Toronto Star. The Honda Indy Toronto will return in 2024 as part of the IndyCar Series schedule. The race will take place at Toronto's Exhibition Place from July 19 to 21. Denmark's Christian Lundgaard won the IndyCar race in Toronto this year. The 2024 IndyCar Series season will start on March 10 with the Firestone Grand Prix in St. Petersburg, Florida, and will include a stop for the Indianapolis 500 on May 26. The championship finale will be held on September 15 in Nashville. Solomon Islands PM Sogavare skips Biden-led summit. Nikkei Asia. Solomon Islands Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare did not attend the Pacific Islands summit hosted by U.S. President Joe Biden at the White House, a move believed to be linked to the island nation's deepening ties with China. Sogavare's absence is seen as a blow to the Biden administration's efforts to rebuild influence in the Pacific region. The Solomon Islands broke diplomatic ties with Taiwan in 2019 and established formal diplomatic relations with Beijing. Sogavare's no-show follows his visit to China in July, where he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Luke Donald, Europe have work cut out to wrest Ryder Cup from very strong USA. The Independent. European Ryder Cup captain Luke Donald has admitted his team have their work cut out as they seek to take back the trophy from the United States. Donald has the task of trying to maintain the hosts' 30-year unbeaten record on home soil. The Americans have the superior team on paper, with 10 of their 12 players currently in the world's top 20. European captain Donald has not ruled out some of his players featuring in all 5 sessions, and the team is looking to utilize the knowledge of Tiger Woods, who is still recovering from ankle surgery. Democratic Senator Menendez says cash found in home was from his personal savings, not bribe proceeds. Associated Press. Democratic U.S. Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey has denied corruption charges brought against him, saying cash authorities found in his home was from his savings account and was on hand for emergencies. Menendez said he believed he would be exonerated, but did not address whether he will seek re-election next year. The state's Democratic leadership, including Governor Phil Murphy, the state party chairman and leaders of the legislature, along with some of Menendez's congressional colleagues, are calling on him to resign. U.S. National Zoo bids farewell to pandas as government shutdown looms. Reuters. Washington's National Zoo is hosting a 9-day event called Pandapalooza to honor its 3 giant pandas ahead of their return to China. However, the event has been affected by stormy weather and the possibility of a government shutdown. The zoo has had to cancel some outdoor events due to torrential rain from Tropical Storm Ophelia, and the festivities may be cut short if Congress fails to provide funding for the zoo. The zoo's Giant Panda program began in 1972, and while there are no immediate plans to acquire more giant pandas, the zoo hopes to continue its work in the future. Unpacking India-Canada tensions amid Trudeau's bombshell allegations. Al Jazeera. The recent investigation by the Canadian government into possible ties between India and the killing of Canadian Sikh leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar has brought validation to the Sikh community in Canada. For years, the community has been working to expose foreign interference from India, and the acknowledgement of this interference by the Canadian government has been seen as a significant step forward. However, there is also frustration within the community that it took an assassination for this acknowledgement to happen. India has forcefully denied Canada's claims and has accused Canada of not doing enough to address Sikh extremism. The ongoing diplomatic row has strained relations between the two countries, with both expelling each other's diplomats and India suspending visa processing for Canadians. The tensions between Canada and India stem from the long-standing Khalistan movement, which advocates for a separate Sikh state in India's Punjab region. The movement has supporters in Canada and has raised concerns about the future of the relationship between the two countries. U.S. Senator Menendez vows to stay in Congress, fight bribery charges. Reuters. Democratic Senator Bob Menendez has denied any wrongdoing and has vowed to stay in Congress after being charged with taking bribes from 3 businessmen. Menendez has temporarily stepped down from his role as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, as Senate Democratic rules require any member charged with a felony to give up their leadership position. Menendez is accused of accepting gold bars and cash in exchange for using his influence to aid the Egyptian government and interfere with law enforcement investigations. If found guilty, Menendez could face a sentence of up to 45 years in prison. Chipmaker GlobalFoundries seeks funding under CHIPS Act. Reuters. GlobalFoundries, a contract chipmaker, has applied for funding under the U.S. CHIPS Act to expand capacity and update its local manufacturing facilities. The CHIPS and Science Act provides $52.7 billion in subsidies for U.S. semiconductor production, research, and workforce development, including a 25% investment tax credit for building chip plants. GlobalFoundries stated that federal support is critical for the company to continue growing its U.S. manufacturing footprint and strengthen national defense and supply chain resiliency. More than 460 companies have expressed interest in winning government semiconductor subsidy funding to boost U.S. competitiveness with China's science and technology efforts. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.